Beneath a silent star, the shroud of Pyeongseong, the cinder-block walls of their apartment always felt colder than the outside air, even with the paltry coal stove glowing a faint orange in the corner. Jihan watched Mina as she knelt, meticulously mending a tear in his threadbare coat, her breath puffing out in small clouds. The silence of Pyeongseong often felt heavier than its omnipresent gray dust, punctuated only by the distant, rhythmic clang of a military patrol or the biting whine of the wind through ill-fitting windows. Her fingers, chapped and reddened from the cold, worked with a quiet determination that both comforted and pained him. He knew the hunger that gnawed at his own gut was mirrored in hers, a dull ache that had become a constant companion. The river of lost souls, the river wound like a frozen serpent through the desolate landscape, its surface a mosaic of cracked ice and black, glinting water where the current had resisted winter's grasp. Every breath clawed at their lungs, each step a testament to their desperate will. Jihan led the way, his eyes constantly scanning the tree line for patrols, his hand finding Mina's in the unforgiving cold. They had been walking for days, existing on rationed handfuls of dried corn and the brittle hope that shimmered just beyond the next ridge. A gaunt figure emerged from the skeletal woods, a man with shrewd, calculating eyes and a smile that didn't quite reach them. Kang! He moved with the ease of someone who belonged to this harsh borderland, his thick, padded coat a stark contrast to their tattered garments. Mina's fingers tightened around Jihan's, her knuckles white. The cold intensified as they neared the widest stretch of the river, an unnatural chill seeping into their bones that had nothing to do with the winter air. The surface of the water, where the ice had thinned, looked oily and dark, churning with a subtle, unsettling current beneath. A mournful sigh seemed to rise from the depths, chilling them to the marrow. Her voice was a ragged whisper. Jihan followed her gaze. A ripple impossibly swift and dark fanned out from the center of the open water, where no stone had been tossed, no wind stirred. Then a glimpse of pale, indistinct face, framed by long, dark hair, seemed to break the surface for a fleeting second before vanishing. A shiver, colder than any he'd ever known, snaked up his spine. They pushed into the water, the icy current instantly seizing their legs. The biting cold was quickly overshadowed by a sense of dread. Unseen hands seemed to brush against their ankles, a phantom tug. The water swirled unnaturally around them. A low, guttural wail echoed from the black depths, a sound that wasn't human, yet held a terrifying, sorrowful resonance. The Cheung cab had found them. A fragile horizon, the water became a swirling maelstrom of terror around them. The Cheung cab, now a half-visible spectral form of a woman with long, skeletal fingers and eyes that were black pits of despair, rose from the river. Her cries filled the air, a piercing shriek that threatened to shatter their sanity as she lunged, trying to drag Mina down into the frigid depths. Jihan fought back with a primal roar, pushing Mina away, his body becoming a shield against the vengeful spirit. The struggle was agonizing, physical blows against an incorporeal foe, the water churning around them like a hungry maw. Kang, having led them into this haunted stretch, watched with detached cruelty, a faint smirk playing on his lips. His voice cut through the chaos, a blade of human betrayal sharper than the ghost's icy grasp. He pointed to the Cheung cab, then to Mina, then to Jihan. The choice was stark, brutal. One of them for the other's freedom, a replacement for the water ghost, or both would perish. Jihan's heart fractured, a scream tearing at his throat. Mina, her face a mask of resolute love, pushed Jihan forward with all her remaining strength, her eyes locking onto his, a silent promise burning in their depths. The Cheung cab, its spectral face alight with a horrifying anticipation, reached for her. The words were a gasp, stolen by the wind and the river's roar. Jihan watched, paralyzed by horror and love, as Mina's form blurred, dissolving into the swirling black water, embraced by the spectral arms of the Cheung cab. The ghost's wail, once filled with vengeance, softened into a long, mournful sigh, a sound of profound release, as if an ancient sorrow had finally been answered. The dark figure of the Cheung cab, with Mina now undeniably a part of its tragic tableau, seemed to waver, then sank, the water finally stilling, its surface becoming calm, as if the river itself had found a measure of peace. The spirit, its centuries-old torment finally eased by the ultimate sacrifice, seemed to have found its Jihan fell to his knees on the muddy bank, the cold no longer registering, only the searing emptiness where Mina had been. Kang, unaffected by the tragedy, merely grunted, grabbing Jihan's arm and hauling him away. The journey continued, but the sun that eventually crested the horizon felt cold, its light unable to thaw the ice that had formed around Jihan's heart. He was free, yes, but the cost of that liberty echoed with Mina's